congratulate those who were honored this evening for their service to the defense of Pakistan. I want to congratulate, I want to congratulate my brothers and sisters from Pakistan for the celebration of this day that began, as I understand it, on September 6th of 1965, when India invaded, igniting a successful resistance that has been celebrated to this day as Pakistan National Defense Day. But I would also like to, and I was invited to share a few words on Kashmir. I'm not going to do that because of, both for the sake of time and also preparation. Inshallah, I've been invited to, when I return back to the UK in October, to be one of the speakers for a national conference that takes place each year in the UK for Kashmir. And inshallah ta'ala, we're going to prepare something really, really memorable. And for those of you who are familiar with our work, if we're going to be sending the text of what we're going to say out, and so you'll be able to access our thoughts at that time. What I simply like to say now, in the few minutes that I have, is to remind us that, there's a hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, wherein it is said that the Prophet was circumambulating the Kaaba. And as he was circumambulating the Kaaba, he had his hands raised, and he was praising the beauty and the purity and the sacredness of the Kaaba. And what is so telling about this particular hadith is that when he ended that hadith, after all of the praise that he heaped upon the Kaaba, Allah's house, he said that the blood of a Muslim is more sacred in the sight of Allah than the house of Allah, than the Kaaba itself. And this is a reminder to us. This is a reminder to us of how sacred blood is, how sacred human lives are. And that brings me to what I want to say to you as a human rights advocate, speaking to you through the prism of Islam. When I visited Pakistan about a year ago, and I had this very intensive visit to several cities, Islamabad, Lahore, Karachi, and before leaving, going all the way up into Peshawar. It was an amazing journey, and I was there in those 9 days of very intensive travel and experience for our sister in Islam, Dr. Afia Siddiqui. And what amazed me was everywhere I went in Pakistan, and I expected this in her home city of Karachi. I wasn't surprised that this would be the case in the capital, Islamabad. But I was truly amazed when I got all the way up into Pashtun country, into Peshawar, and the intensity of the desire for having the daughter of the nation returned was even more intense than it was in other parts of Pakistan. I was amazed. I was just amazed. And I want to say to us, brothers and sisters, what brings me here to Chicago right now is the fact that there is the major convention of the Muslims taking place here in Chicago, the ISNA convention, the Islamic Society of North America, which is supposed to be the largest convention of Muslims in the United States. I mean, tens of thousands of Muslims are there. I came to this city to serve as a reminder to the leaders who come to the ISNA convention from all parts of the United States not to forget this Muslim woman, Afia Siddiqui, and not to forget the obligation that we have as it pertains to this woman. You know, when I was in Lahore, I met many very impressive young Muslim women. Ever since I've been back, I've been telling people that this remarkable young woman that is being celebrated around the world, this remarkable young woman who was shot in the head and survived by the grace and mercy of Allah, and has been this shining light for Pakistan. I mean, really a shining light. And you all know who I'm talking about. What is her name? No, not Afia. She was shot in the head. Yes. Malala Yousafzai, a remarkable young woman. I've been telling people ever since I got back from Pakistan that Malala Yousafzai is not unique. I met many young Muslim sisters in Pakistan that reminded me of her, that reminded me of Afia. And I was so impressed. At the Rakan Middle School in Lahore, they had a program that was scheduled to welcome Dr. Fawzia Siddiqui, Afia's sister, and this American Muslim who came to welcome us. And they gave these young people, these young males and females in the Rakan Middle School, gave these phenomenal speeches. I'll never forget what one of the young girls said. She raised a rhetorical question. A rhetorical question that it should go to the heart of every committed Pakistani anywhere in the world. She said, these were her exact words: did our fathers, listen good, she said, did our fathers struggle to establish Pakistan so that our daughters could be sold? Did our fathers struggle to establish Pakistan so that our daughters could be sold? This young girl was about 12 years old. This speech that she gave, it just touched me so deeply. And like I said, I met many others like her before I left Pakistan. And so I want to end with this. Brothers and sisters, I brought with me copies of a newsletter. I want everyone to take a copy of this newsletter. When I arrived in the UK in June, I was taken directly from Heathrow Airport to the Parliament, where I was introduced to and had a 90-minute meeting with Nazir Ahmed, the first Muslim to be seated in the House of Lords. And we talked about the struggles involving Muslims, the challenges involving Muslims in the West, in America and in the UK. And we talked about Afia. And the very next day, when I turned on my laptop in my hotel room, there was a letter that he had written to the U.S. Attorney General. It's in here. The very next morning, I was so impressed with him. And so, if someone like him from his, and I'll close. If someone like him in his high station could do what he did within a 24-hour period, what should we be willing to do when Afia Siddiqui is right in our backyard on a military base in Fort Worth, Texas, and she's in bad shape? She is withering away. She is a shell of her former self. This graduate of MIT with honors. This graduate of Brandeis University with honors. This Hafiza of Quran. She is a shell now of her former self. We have an obligation to her. And so I want to invite you, in my last final words, to get a copy of this newsletter. Please read it cover to cover, and then share it with someone else. I brought with me also a box, and I'm going to extend the same invitation to you that we've been extending to folks we've been talking to at the ISNA convention. One of the most meritorious forms of zakat or sadaqah we can give is the zakat or sadaqah for freeing the prisoners. For freeing the prisoners. This brings us close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So please, if you're in a position